Today's lesson is called Signing Off with Style. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And my name is Helen.
Yeah, reading these articles, especially ones having to do with technology, wow, do they ever make me feel old. And yeah, I'm reading through this article on finishing letters, signing off when it comes to letters and emails and stuff, and I can't help it. I feel old. Now, I'm not that old, but I feel old. Why? Because I have students now who have never written a snail mail letter. They've never actually written a letter on a piece of paper and then put it in the mailbox and sent it to someone. Sometimes some of the students have written postcards, but as far as letters are concerned, I do have some students who have no idea how to write a letter or how to use a stamp or anything like that. And that makes me feel old because I remember writing letters. I've done it before. I used to do it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot also, but these days it just takes too long to write letters. So letter writing has become a lost art because before writing a letter was almost like writing an essay. You had to think clearly about what you wanted to write. But these days it's all about speed and convenience, and that's what email brings to us.
Yeah, back in the day, writing letters was great, okay? It's a lost art form, that's for sure. But if you did send off a letter, chances are you were not going to get a response for a week or so, at best, okay? Nowadays, though, with email, oh my goodness, you can write messages back and forth all day long. You might get a response within a minute. How about that? Technology is amazing. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the second part of our lesson on emails. We're going to learn how to sign off with style. Anyways, don't go away, folks. We'll be right back after this.
As a safe option, best or best wishes will generally serve you well in most circumstances, being at once friendly but not too casual. If, however, you're writing a cold email, that is, an email to someone you haven't met before, and want to maintain a professional tone, when applying for a job, for instance, then the more formal sincerely better fits the bill. After the initial contact, it's usually appropriate to switch to best or one of its variants to demonstrate that you've moved on to slightly more familiar terms.
各位好，第一部分我们看到片语 at once 表示同时，例如It's hard for most people to do two different things at once. 对大多数人而言，很难同时做两件不同的事。另外 at once 也可以指立刻、马上。举例来说 When Julie saw the car accident on her way home, she called the police at once. Julie 回家途中目睹一场车祸并立刻报警。接着我们看到片语 fit or fill the bill 表示符合需要要求很适合，例如 We have found several candidates that fit the bill from the resumes we've received. 我们从收到的履历当中发现有几名候选人符合要求，或是 We looked for a new apartment for weeks until we found one that filled the bill. 我们找新公寓找了好几个礼拜，直到我们找到适合的。再来，我们看到一个单字 initial， 这个字是形容词，指最初的、开始的。举例来说 Bob did poorly on the initial test, but he did better on the second one. Bob 一开始的考试考得很差，但第二次考得比较好。或是 From her initial reaction, it was obvious that Sue was upset by the news. 从 Sue 最初的反应可以明显看出她对此消息感到难过。另外，这个字也可以是名词，指姓名或组织名的首字母，像是All of Jessica's towels have her initials on them. Jessica 所有的毛巾上都有她名字的首字母。接着我们看到名词 variant 指变化形式、变体。例如 Many spelling variants can be found between British and American English. 在英式英文和美式英文之间可以找到许多拼音变化。
And welcome back. So how do you actually sign off with style in an email? So for one thing, as a safe option, best or best wishes will generally serve you well in most circumstances, being at once friendly but not too casual. So here we are given two options. We can sign off with either the word best or the phrase best wishes. And why are these two choices good choices? Because they're general enough so that they work in most circumstances. Now, circumstance is a condition that affects a situation. So a situation can become a certain way given the circumstances that surround the situation. For instance, I could say, I don't usually eat cake, but under the circumstances, since it's your birthday, I will have a slice of cake. So the circumstance is it's your birthday today, so I will do something unusual, which is I will have a slice of cake. Now, in the case of the emails, best or best wishes are good choices because they will work in the most number of circumstances.
There you go. They're at once friendly, but also not too casual. And here we have this phrase, at once. It kind of means also or at the same time. So yes, they're friendly. Okay, these options here that we're talking about, best or best wishes, they are friendly, but at the same time, they're not too casual. And here, best, it really suits the bill. Pretty much everyone can receive this, okay? And they're not going to be offended or think you've crossed the line in some way, okay? This is a great way to end your email. Now, we just talked about best or best wishes. Next, let's go ahead and talk about a cold email. Yes, if, however, you're writing a cold email, that is, an email to someone you haven't met before, and want to maintain a professional tone when applying for a job, for instance, then the more formal sincerely better fits the bill. There you go. You can still get away with yours truly, yours sincerely. But yes, in this particular situation, if you do want to write a cold email and you want to retain some formality in the way that you're talking and addressing this person, go ahead and go with sincerely. It's going to better fit the bill. By the way, if something fits the bill, it is right for that situation. It is appropriate. It's the right thing to do.
That's right. For instance, I could say, I need a suitcase that's big but not too heavy. And this one right here fits the bill, meaning it's big and it's not too heavy and it's exactly what I was looking for. So if you're writing an email to apply for a job, you probably don't want to sign off with best or best wishes because that would just sound weird. And maybe the reader wouldn't really register it consciously. They may not think, that's weird, but it will leave some kind of impression. And you don't want to leave any strange impressions when you're writing emails to people you don't know. So all of these, they're not really rules, but they're just feelings because of usage. And of course, these feelings can change with time, just as yours faithfully was used in the past, and it was probably quite common, but today it has fallen out of use. So a lot of this is just basic feelings and what is customary.
Anyways, let's talk about the next step in this cold emailing process. After the initial or first contact, it's usually appropriate to switch to best or one of its variants to demonstrate that you moved on to slightly more familiar terms. Okay, so yeah, you can go ahead and switch from sincerely to best because sure, this person isn't a close friend yet, but yes, you have made this initial contact, okay? You know the person, there is some familiarity there, so go with best. And best will always work for you. You'll never offend someone by ending a letter or an email with the word best or best wishes, even though I go with best in most situations.
Right. Best is a good option because it's very general, it's neutral, and it doesn't elicit any particular kinds of feelings. And also, in the initial contact of a cold email, you might address the person as Mr. or Ms. and then end your email with sincerely. And if the other person responds to your email by signing off with his first name, such as Joe, then you can follow that up with writing Dear Joe instead of writing Mr. Smith or something like that. So that's something else that you can keep in mind.
There you go. If you're talking to someone, having a conversation face-to-face, once you guys are familiar with one another, you can drop a whole formality thing and start calling each other by your names, your first names, and the same goes for writing emails. At first, okay, you don't know each other. There's a kind of cold situation there. You're very formal, okay? Then after that, you can warm things up and go ahead and use those first names and also switch from sincerely to best when you're signing off on one of those emails there, okay? Sincerely at first, and then best or one of its variants afterwards, after you've made that initial contact. Now, by the way, here it says that you can use best or one of its variants. So you can use best or something like best, something related to best.
Right. A variant of best would be best wishes, for instance. So you could use best or best wishes. But still, I think best is the best because it's just the most general.
There you go. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Interestingly, some sign-offs are more effective at gaining a response than others. To increase your odds of getting a reply, sign off with thanks or thanks in advance. Saying thank you before the person has done anything to merit it puts extra pressure on them to answer you. However, use this sign-off economically because it can sometimes appear passive-aggressive.
第二部分我们看到单字 odds 这个字是名词，指成功的机会、可能性，阻碍成功的困难，像是 Since the singer is already popular, the odds are that her new album will sell well. 既然那名歌手已经很出名，他新专辑大卖的可能性很高。或是 I am hoping to beat the odds and get through the language course with a perfect score on the exam. 我希望能克服万难，以满分通过这门语言课。另外补充一个相关片语 against all odds 表示尽管困难重重还是克服万难。举例来说 Against all odds, Kelly was able to race again after injuring her leg in an accident. Kelly 在一场意外中伤了腿之后，排除万难又能再赛跑了。再来，我们看到形容词 passive-aggressive 指被动攻击的、消极抵抗的。例如 Mandy is considered as a passive-aggressive person since she always avoids direct communication. Mandy 被认为是一个消极抵抗的人，因她总是逃避直接的沟通。
And welcome back. So we're going to wrap up our talk on signing off with style, and we're talking about writing emails. So the last part of our lesson here says, interestingly, some sign-offs are more effective at gaining a response than others. To increase your odds of getting a reply, sign off with thanks or thanks in advance. So that's a nice little tip.
There you go. By the way, here, odds are chances. So if you want to increase your odds of getting a reply, you want to increase the chances of getting a reply. You want getting a reply to be more likely than not. So to increase your odds of getting that reply, sign off with thanks or thanks in advance. Saying thank you before the person has done anything to merit it puts extra pressure on them to answer you. So there you go. You've said thanks, and now the person feels obliged to actually do something for you. How about that? What a great way to sign off. It's a great way to sign off when you definitely do want a prompt reply. By the way, it says here that saying thank you before anyone has done anything to merit it puts pressure on someone. And here we have this word merit to talk about. Merit, it's being used as a verb. Take it away, Helen. What does the word merit mean in this particular situation?
It simply means to deserve something. So if somebody has done something to merit praise, it means they deserve to be praised for what they have done. So I could say the boy merits praise because he's a good student and he takes care of his little sister.
So there you go. That's the word merit being used as a verb, to deserve something. Now, we can also use this word as a noun, okay? If you have a merit, Okay, what you're saying is that you've got a good quality. Okay, that's all there is to it. Anyways, moving on. The next sentence says, however, use this sign-off economically because it can sometimes appear passive-aggressive. By the way, if you do something economically, you do something in moderation, okay? You don't do that too much. You don't do it in excess. You don't do it too often.
Right. You don't want to waste something. You do it without waste. So you could say something like, spend your energy economically today because tomorrow we'll be hiking all day. So we can use the word thanks or the phrase thanks in advance to sign off in an email, but we shouldn't do it all the time. We should do it economically because it can sometimes appear as passive-aggressive. So this phrase passive-aggressive, there are two words put together and they mean the opposite of each other. And together they basically means avoiding confrontation. When you're passive-aggressive, you don't like confrontation. So an example would be something like, let's say you want to break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and instead of saying to them directly, I want to break up with you, I think we should end our relationship, you do things or you say things that annoy them to make them break up with you because you didn't want the confrontation and you were being passive-aggressive so that they could break up with you.
Ooh, so you're being passive, i.e., you are avoiding the conflict, but you're also, by your actions, inviting the conflict. You're letting someone else do your dirty work for you. How passive-aggressive. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll wrap things up right after this.
Of course, should you find yourself fretting over your sign-off, you can always follow the other person's lead, leaving the complex business of deciding how to sign off to them instead.
最后第三部分我们看到一个单字 fret， 这个字是动词，指烦恼、着急。做不及物动词时，后面可接 over 或是 about 加上名词。举例来说， Valerie always frets about how to pay for her children's tuition. Valerie 总是烦恼怎么负担她孩子们的学费。
So let's wrap up our discussion on signing off in emails. Now, of course, should you find yourself fretting over your sign-off, you can always follow the other person's lead, leaving the complex business of deciding how to sign off to them instead. So instead of deciding yourself, if you're fretting over this problem and you're worried about it and thinking about it, don't. The simplest way to deal with it is to follow the other person's lead, meaning what the other person that you're writing an email to does, then you follow that person's lead. You do what they do. If they sign off with sincerely, then you sign off with sincerely.
There you go. Just go ahead and follow their lead. Yeah, you can leave the complex business of deciding the sign off to them instead. What a great way to do things. By the way, before we take a break, let's talk about this word fret. If you fret about something, you worry about that thing, okay? Very often the way I end this program is by saying, don't worry, don't fret. The Chinese teacher is on her way. That's what I'm saying. Don't worry, folks. There's no reason to get nervous. Our show is done, but more fun is coming up soon in the form of the Chinese teacher. Anyway, speaking of which, yes, right now it is time for us to end our lesson on signing off with style, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher. So don't worry and don't fret.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。读到课文最后一句，他说 Of course, should you find yourself fretting over your sign-off, you can always follow the other person's lead. 当然，要是你发现自己对结尾敬语担心不已，你就每次都照对方写的，反正你跟着对方写应该不会有什么大问题啦。好，那这边我们要介绍3个文法重点哦。第一个是 find oneself 加受词补语，这个用法是表达说发现自己处于某一种状态。 那 find 这个动词在这边表示发现、发掘，它的受词补语可以用现在分词、形容词或是介系词、片语等等。像课文里面 find yourself fretting 表示说发现你自己担心不已，那这边的动词 fret F-R-E-T 它表示烦恼焦急，那这边是用现在分词 fretting 来当补语。好，我们来造一个例句。She often finds herself thinking about the boy. 她时常发现自己在想那个男孩。好，第二个重点是 follow somebody's lead. 这个用语表示效法某人，跟着某人做，照某人的样子做。那其中的 lead 是当名词，表示示范或是榜样。举例来说 The yoga instructor told us to follow her lead. 瑜伽老师要我们跟着她的动作做。那顺便补充一个用法，如果是 take the lead 则表示带头领先，它可以用来表达在某方面居领先地位，有主导的意思。那其中的 lead 也是当名词，在这边可以指领导或是领先地位。举例来说 The company took the lead in developing this new technology. 那间公司率先发展了这一项新科技。好，第三个要介绍的是有点复杂的句型，是 should 加主词加动词。好，它其实是由 if 主词 should 原形动词，然后省略了 if， 再把 should 移到句首而来的倒装句，用来表达说万一怎么样的话，要是怎么样怎么样。那这个用法常常用来表达未来发生的可能性很小的情况，而且它的语气稍微比较正式一点。那主要的句型有3种，第一种是 should 主词加动词，逗号，主词加上 will, can 或是 may 再加原形动词。举例来说 Should you have any questions, you can give us a call anytime. 要是你有任何问题，随时都可以打电话给我们。好，第二个句型是 should 主词加动词，逗号，主词加上 would, could 或是 might 加原形动词。举例来说 Should a fire break out in this narrow alley, the fire truck would have trouble getting through. 万一这条窄巷子发生火灾的话，消防车会很难通过的。好，第三个句型是 should 主词加动词，逗号，祈使句，像是 Should you change your mind, please let me know. 要是你改变心意的话，请告诉我。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Circumstance. Under the current circumstances, changing people's minds would be quite difficult. Initial. Erin recovered easily because the doctors caught her cancer in the initial stages. Odds. The odds of winning the lottery are very low, but that doesn't stop people from playing. Merit. I think that the idea Colin came up with merits further discussion. Economically. Phoebe tends to speak economically, so I was surprised to hear her give such a long speech.
Discussion Starter starts now!
All right, folks, it's time for our discussion starter. Hey, Helen, how important do you think email sign-offs are?
I actually don't think they're very important because I think people just try to get the main message in the email when they read, and they don't even read how you sign off. But maybe I'm wrong.
Now, I think we kind of covered this in our article, but I think email sign-offs are important at first, but then as that chain of communication evolves over time, they become less and less important. In fact, at a certain point, you can probably dispatch with the sign-offs altogether, okay? People are familiar with you. The email chain has gone back and forth for a long time. They know what the email's about. They know who it's from. So you don't even need the sign-offs at a certain point. So altogether, email sign-offs are important at first because, yes, they can influence that first contact that you have with someone and the first impression that you have on them. But after that, they become less and less important.
Well, this is the end of our program. We hope you had a great time with us today. Hope you can join us again. From all of us here, I'm Helen.
I'm Jeff.
See you next time.